All right, guys, so we're going to go over domain and range with a graph. We have this curvy thing. We don't really know what it is. We haven't really done stuff like this. You don't know how to graph this, and that's okay. But you will know how to find domain and range, knowing that domain and range talks about all the possible x values and all the possible y values. So the first thing I do is I look at my graph that I'm given, and I figure out the order pairs of the highest point and the lowest point. And I also would look for like maxes and mins and stuff, but we're not there yet. So I know this is my lowest point vertically in the y-axis, so it's going to be 7 comma negative 5, x comes first, y comes second. And then my other point up here on the left, upper left, is going to be negative 5 comma 6. So I got negative 5 comma 6, and I got 7 comma negative 5. Every other point is in between those 2 points, so I only care about my endpoints. Because domain and range is the endpoints and everything in between for a continuous function like this one. So I'm going to use 2 different colors. I'm going to use blue for domain, red for range, and D stands for domain. So I'm going to set up my inequalities. There's other ways to do this, and we're going to go through like interval notation, but right now we're just going to do this. So I'm going to do x, put a box for my inequality symbol, and leave a space for a number. And x, put a box for the inequality symbol, and leave a space for the number. I'm going to do the same thing for range. R for range. I'm going to use y because range relates to outputs, which is on the y-axis. And put a box, leave a space. And y, put a box for the inequality symbol, and leave a space. Now, when I do this, I am going to have the range of values that makes this true. The range of values that makes this true will be all the numbers that are bigger than one of these x's and less than the other one, and same thing for the y. So let's look at our graph. I draw these things, I call them dumbbells, and I like to put them on the bottom or the top of the graph. The dumbbells, to me, show me the domain, show me the range. So I'm going to go to my most left point, which happens to be this 5 comma 6, and I'm going to draw a closed circle at the bottom, because that is a closed circle. That means that that endpoint is included in the domain and range. And I'm going to draw an open circle at the rightmost point, which is over here. So I have a closed point and an open point, and I'm going to draw a line to connect them, because my domain will include all the values from this point to this point and everything in between. I'm going to do the same thing for range, except I'm going vertical this time because range is all my y values. And I'm going to draw an open circle at the bottommost value, and I'm going to draw a closed circle at the topmost value for the y's, and then draw a line to connect them. Because my range is all the y values greater than this value, everything in between, less to and including, because it's a closed circle, that value. So if I look at my range, I'm going to write the y values that fit. So my greatest y value is positive 6. My lowest y value is negative 5, and that's because I know that these are my y values. Order pairs go x and y. So it's going to be negative 5 on the bottom, positive 6 on the top. I'm going to do the same thing with my domain, knowing that x comes first in the order pair. So the leftmost x value, the one that corresponds to this closed circle here, is a negative 5. And the most right value, the largest x value, is a positive 7. I recommend pausing at this point and getting this down if you don't got it. Once you have the numbers listed that you want, you need to write them with the x's, and you don't know the inequality symbols yet, and that's okay, we're going to figure that out. So it's going to be x is greater than or less than a number. The smallest x value corresponds to this one, that's a negative 5. The largest x value is 7, and that's going to go here. We're going to do the y's now. The lowest y value, the smallest range value, is negative 5, and the largest y value is positive 6. Once I know that, I just got to get my inequality symbols down. So looking at negative 5 in the x, the domain, where are all the other x values? Less than or greater than? Because I'm going from negative 5 to positive 7, I am greater than negative 5. And because this is a closed circle, it tells me that negative 5 is included in the solution, so it's equal to, greater than or equal to. Because this 7 is an open circle, and all the x values are to the left of it or less than it, this one will be x is less than 7. So the verbal description for the domain of this function would be all x values greater than or equal to negative 5 and all x values less than 7. So from -5 and up to +7, but you never really touch the 7. That's why it's an open circle. You get really, really close. Think about it like you must be less than 18 years old to come to this party. If you're 18, you're too old, man. Go home. So look at the y's. We are greater than -5. We are less than or equal to +6 because of the open closed circle. Sorry. And we know that all the y values for the range are greater than -5 and less than or equal to +6. That's how you find domain and range. Let me know if you have questions. Mr. Hanson 404.